Hey, update on my review of The Choir in Aylesbury Prison with Gareth Malone. First of all, I'm not even going to pretend that I'm not completely stoked that Gareth Malone, one, watched my video, and two, replied to it. I'm a complete fangirl, that's amazing. Also, last night was the second episode and the performance of The Choir. But what stood out for me was, again, this what I've been trying to wrap words around, when the power of someone being present and standing in the chaos, the chaotic fire of someone's life. I talk about students at school and kids and adults being either chaos navigators or order navigators. You know, like my kids are order navigators. I'm an order navigator today. I know that there's food in the house. I know that it's okay. I know I've got my computer. I can send emails. Everything is fine. It doesn't mean that I'm always happy. It means there's always potential for happiness. And it doesn't mean that I'm ready for a challenge all the time, but it means that I know I've got support through challenging times. When you're living in chaos, when you're a chaos navigator, they are luxuries that you can't afford to take for granted. You might not have enough food. You might not have anyone at home looking after you. You might be protecting your own siblings from an abusive stepfather. You might be trying to resist your sister's boyfriend making you sell drugs at school. And if you do turn up at school, it's a freaking miracle. And then what you're met with is, why are you late? Where's your blazer? That welcome to school in the morning, which I get because the teachers and the leaders are under pressure. I get it. But what we're missing is the incredible power of being able to stand shoulder to shoulder with someone and show up as your whole self, and the loyalty that buys. So in Gareth's reply to his tweet, I talked about, the power of just being able to notice and describe differences, but not judge, no judgment, so that you can open a door to people trusting you. And he said, for him, what it is, it's owning his privilege, instead of trying to hide the differences, enjoying them. And that's exactly it. That's exactly it. There is something uniquely, rawly authentic about someone who knows that where they are, knows who they are, and enjoys that there's a difference, and doesn't hold it in judgment over someone else. I don't think I'm explaining this very well, because I'm trying to explain it from the point of view of a chaos navigator. The huge difference that it made to me when people were just honest about who they were. Growing up in an abusive home, you learn to distrust people, okay, massively. Also, you have this ongoing narrative that you're not good enough. You're not good enough. So every adult you meet, there's this immediate distrust. And if they're inauthentically, well, come on, we've got to do this, you kind of feel like they're trying to buy a diamond with a moody £10 note, because you know better. Also, there's this thing that, you read body language. You learn to read, but if you grow up with someone who's an alcoholic or bipolar, you learn to read body language, facial expression, micro expression. So I used to think I was psychic, because I could tell what people were thinking, even when they said something different to how they felt. I used to think, and then I thought everyone could do it, but it turns out everyone can't. So this is what I'm doing when I'm watching The Choir, and there's this beautiful moment where Gareth is sat with Usher. Usher is in prison for life. And when he was 15, he stabbed someone, he stabbed someone, a chaos navigator. And now that's what the rest of his life is going to be spent in prison. He's 21. And he says, I know I did something wrong. And so anyway, he comes in, and his whole body language and attitude is like, yeah, what? Because it has to be. Only a fool would trust someone who hasn't proven that they are for you. And that's the thing, when you're trying to build these relationships, just ask yourself one question. Does that student, does that parent, does that colleague know that I'm for them? And I don't mean, do they know what they have to do and what you expect of them? No, that's different. Do they know that you're for them? Because if that's not evident to someone, then why would I trust you if you're not for me? That's insane. That's insane. You're asking me to hand over the life, my trust to someone who's not for me. You wouldn't do that. Nobody would do that. So it's not appropriate. It's not fair. Anyway, so Usher comes in. He's got the body language, the clothes, everything. And first thing, and Gareth does this with everyone, he doesn't acknowledge the barriers. He doesn't acknowledge he doesn't acknowledge it. He just talks as if it's like, okay, fine. That's where you need to be right now. That's fine. This is what we're doing. He gets straight into it. He just treats someone like they're human. Anyway, so he says, he's going through Usher's lyrics, and he says, there's some bits I don't understand. There's like, what's O? And like, Khalid, why are we cross at Khalid? And Usher says, because he says he's got the key. And Gareth's like, okay, is that another song that I haven't heard? And Usher's like, yeah. And Gareth said, is that because I still keep listening to Radio 3? And Usher goes, yeah. And he goes, yeah, I need to address that. And then Usher just smiles. listen, this is not rocket science. You know how to build relationships. You have relationships. Some of them you like, some of them you don't like so much. I am talking about the power of relationship when you, as someone who has privilege, and by privilege I'm talking about someone who is navigating order instead of navigating chaos, because that's a freaking privilege. I am completely privileged, and don't forget that for 1 minute. That's why I live in this constant state of gratitude. Being able to navigate order means that you are in a position where you can choose to show up as your whole self, 100% you, and stand with someone, notice and describe, enjoy the differences and be human, open the door, be authentic, be consistent. That's another thing Gareth was, consistent. It's about the music, it's about you, it's about your story. And have high expectations embedded. That's the important one. I talk about ACE relationships, authenticity, consistency, high expectations embedded. Because Gareth's like, we're going to write a song. So that's what we're going to do. I'm good at this. This is the best thing I do. I can do this. And I know you can do this. I've done it before. It's going to work. So let's get on with it. I mean, that kind of high expectation, the power of someone believing in you when you don't believe in yourself. Henry Ford calls it the power of the other. So yeah. I just want to encourage you today, when there's, when someone is giving you agita, when someone's in your face, I get that that's hard, it's hard. When my kids aren't doing what I want them to do, I find it hard, and I love them and they love me, we're related, but it's even more hard when it's someone that you're in class, I get that. But if a 10-year-old throws a staple gun at another 10-year-old's head, there's something wrong there. That's not the behaviour of someone who feels safe and secure. So you can get involved in the behaviour, but also imagine, I always have a phrase in my head when someone's annoying me, what's behind the front? And that means you stay neutral. Watch the choir, see how Gareth does it when he's with his prisoners. You stay neutral and then you get curious. So rather than facing, if that person is here and they're in your face, what you do is you sidestep and then just go forward and look. What's behind that behaviour? What is it that is driving that? Not so you can let them off and forgive them and say, oh, well, we've all, no. So that you can understand and speak into that and make a connection that goes way beyond the bus stop method for long division and actually straight into the difference that you can make and they can be. Please watch this programme. Watch Gareth's body language, his tone, his intentionality. Watch his focus, his genuineness. Watch how he shakes people's hands and connects with them. And then, as you see in the programme, as it builds up, he might kind of, tuck someone on the shoulder and stuff later on. I mean, I just want to rush in and hug, but see how that restraint and the way he restrains and the way that he shows up and gives. It's beautiful. And he's doing it automatically because in his head, it's like, okay, so we're different. That's okay, we're different. I don't know this world. So, but it doesn't mean I'm discounted. It doesn't mean I'm wrong. And you're not wrong. No one's wrong. It's just different. Oh, I'm a huge fan. What else does he do? I've never heard of him before. I know he does choirs. I'm just going to be checking out how he's changing the world and modelling that for everyone else. Gareth, you rock. Thank you.